Hello and welcome to today's press conference with Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson and President Halla Tómasdóttir. Following the press conference, the webcast will be available on the Swedish government website government.se.
Well, good afternoon, and Madam President, most welcome to Stockholm and to Sweden. Really good to see you today. This state visit marks an important opportunity to highlight and to celebrate the very close bonds between Sweden and Iceland. Our two nations share more than just geography. We share 1,000 years of friendship and mutual respect. Our histories are connected through language, culture, and shared values. That really makes a difference. This year, we actually mark 85 years of official diplomatic relations, and we are more interconnected now than we have ever been before. We are friends, obviously. We are neighbors, obviously, partners, and now also we are allies in NATO, and the NATO flag is behind us here. As a founding member, Iceland has long been a NATO member, of course, while Sweden is proud to be the newest one. We highly value the support we got from the Icelandic friends in our accession process, and thanks again for all that support. Together, the Nordics are stronger, safer, and better equipped to navigate an uncertain global landscape. And uncertainty has perhaps not in modern times been more evident than it is right now. Whether bilaterally or through international organizations such as NATO, the Nordic Council of Ministers, the Arctic Council, or through informal cooperation formats such as N5, the Nordic 5, or NB8, the Nordic Baltic 8 countries, Sweden and Iceland work tirelessly to enhance our collective defense capabilities, our crisis preparedness, and the regional security. The shared ambitions of our countries to go beyond security into a sustainable and prosperous Nordic future. Sweden and Iceland unite in our commitment to the green transition, equally important today as it was before all these geopolitical tensions, where trade and investment drive innovation and growth. By harnessing fossil-free energy and innovative technologies, we will bolster our competitiveness and drive this specific transition. Another part of our partnership is our cooperation in healthcare, not that well known for everybody. Swedish medical education and specialized care have played a vital role in advancing treatment and improving patient outcomes in both our countries. By sharing knowledge and resources, we have enhanced diagnostics, elevated care standards, and improved the quality of life for Swedes and Icelanders alike. To strengthen collaboration in life science and healthcare between our countries even further, a memorandum of understanding will be signed tomorrow between the Stockholm Science City and the Reykjavik Science City at the Karolinska University Hospital. Finally, Madam President, at the heart of our relationship there is a cultural connection. From the sagas of the medieval era to today's exchanges in literature, music, film and design, Swedish and Icelandic cultures have long enriched one another. Madam President's visit to Sweden is a good example, and I do believe it paves the way for even deeper cultural collaboration. So thank you so much for being here. And over to you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, very much. And I will have to use old-fashioned technology to
it still works.
To see. It does. Prime Minister and members of the press and other guests, it is a true honor to stand here today, following what I would describe as a truly warm, open and forward-looking discussion with Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. I want to thank the Prime Minister and the Swedish government for the generous welcome extended to me and to the Icelandic delegation during this state visit. We feel not only welcome, but we feel like family. This relationship between Iceland and Sweden is built on generations of mutual trust and shared vision. and today's meeting was a reaffirmation of our deep and enduring bond, one rooted in Nordic cooperation, democratic values, and a joint responsibility to shape a better future for our people and for the world. We live in times that call for courage, compassion, and collaboration. In our conversation today, the Prime Minister and I discussed the many challenges facing our region and the international community. From climate disruption, we have not forgotten about that, to security concerns, to economic transformation and growing threats to democracy. Our dialogue focused on the shifting security landscape in Europe. As president of a peaceful nation without a military, I expressed Iceland's full support for Sweden's accession to NATO, a historic step that reflects both the realities of today and the values we share. Iceland is committed to contributing to a region of stability through diplomacy, resilience, and strong Nordic voice in multilateral institutions. The Prime Minister and I spoke as allies and also as neighbors about the importance of defending democracy. In a time of growing polarization and disinformation, we must stand firm in our commitment to freedom of expression, human rights, and equal opportunity for all. These values are not abstract. They are the concrete foundation of our societies and the compass that must guide our decision and behaviors going forward. We also discussed a topic that must define our generation's legacy, the climate crisis. Both Iceland and Sweden are uniquely positioned to lead by example on this front. We are small nations with bold ambitions. We are already proving that it is possible to grow prosperous economies powered by green energy and guided by sustainability in everything we do. But we both recognize that in light of all the other challenges, this priority has sometimes slipped further down the list, and it cannot. Indeed, we must go further and we must go faster, and the green transition is, in a way, one route to increased peace in the world. We explored economic cooperation, particularly in areas where Iceland and Sweden both have strengths to offer: innovation, digital transformation, the creative industries, and the circular economy. We agreed on the importance of nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit and investing in the next generation of talents, something that you do so well here in Sweden. And we are both, as nations, keen to invest in young people and women who must have an equal voice in shaping the future. Of course, no state visit is complete without celebrating the human ties that bind us. Whether through education, arts, tourism, or migration, Icelanders and Swedes have long moved between our countries, sharing ideas, building families, and enriching each other's lives. These people-to-people connections are the heartbeat of our partnership, and we must continue to foster them in every way we can. Indeed, we wouldn't have healthcare in Iceland without all of those doctors who study right here in Sweden. As I conclude, let me say this: in a world that often seems uncertain, and is quite uncertain, Iceland finds in Sweden a steady friend, a principled partner, and an ally, and a fellow innovator. Our cooperation is not only about policy, it is about purpose. And I am confident that together we can lead with integrity, creativity, and hope. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, thank you once again for today's meaningful exchange and for your steadfast leadership. Iceland looks forward to continuing our shared journey as neighbors, as friends, and as a Nordic voices for a better world. Thank you. Tack så mycket.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I like small nations, bold ambitions. I like that. I'm going to steal that one. Questions?
We'll go to questions. We'll start with Olafur from RUV.
Yes, Madam President, Herr Statsminister. My name is Olafur. I'm from the Icelandic National Broadcaster RUV. Madam President, you said in your press meeting with His Majesty the King that this trip offers a lot of opportunity of strengthening bonds. On what front would you like to see those bonds strengthen? And then you talk a lot about security. Will we see Swedish NATO troops in Iceland in the future?
Well, I will leave it to the defense minister of Iceland to answer the latter question. But to the first question, I would say on all fronts that we spoke about. But it is very clear that we have a focus on this trip around healthcare. More than half of our doctors do specialist education here in Sweden, so we have a huge focus on working further together in healthcare. We have over 200 collaboration projects happening in research and medical and technically related fields here in Sweden. So we're already collaborating, but we want to do more. We're also putting the creative industries on the agenda, in particular looking at how we can collaborate more in film and TV. It is famous here in Sweden that people had to watch Hrafnin flýgur or Korpen flýgur and Tungur hnífur. Do you know that sentence?
I know.
So this is the era where we actually exported the dark and gloomy entertainment material from Iceland to Sweden. In recent times, we've seen a lot more uplifting productions in Iceland and here. And let's say that maybe we can cast more light on our ability to be creative and innovative and entrepreneurial together to solve the world's challenges, not the least in climate change, environmental degradation, and to continue to stand for the values that we have built the well-being economies on the Nordics on. Democracy, gender equality and equality in general, sustainability, and being peaceful and prosperous societies that share prosperity in a just way.
Next question goes to Grim Berglund, TT.
Madam President, Mr. Prime Minister, Grim Berglund from the Swedish News Agency. Iceland has a very strategic position in the Atlantic Ocean and North Sea with Scotland and Greenland and the Arctic Circle. Do you think there could be a conflict in the future of your close relationship with the United States and with the changes of structure in the area? And to Mr. Prime Minister, do you think it's a time to even increase the collaboration between the Nordic countries, with Iceland not being part of the European Union as well as Norway? Do you think there's a need to strengthen these parts?
So we used to talk about Iceland as being far up in the North Atlantic, sort of out of the way. And now, geographically, things are changing as well as geopolitically, whereas Iceland finds itself almost the center of the earth, one could say, between the US, Russia, and China, one could say, when the Arctic opens. And that's within reach. So a lot of things are changing around geographical and sustainability and ability to guarantee security in the region. So, but with this position, Iceland has always chosen a position to have to be friends with everyone. We have no reason to sever relationships with anyone. We've enjoyed decades-long positive relationship with the United States and a bilateral defense agreement, and we've been part of the European Economic Area for more than 30 years. I don't think Iceland is ever going to be a nation that's not going to want to be friends with everyone. So Vem kan segla comes to mind as a Swedish folk song, and I don't think we can go very far alone. And we are not going to sever our ties with anyone proactively, and will always welcome a positive dialogue and to continue to build a world based on the true principles that brought us prosperity over the last 80 years. Sort of stability, that's what everybody asks for, and we have at least temporarily lost that, and positive relationships and friendships. So we will continue to be a voice for that and the values that we've always stood by.
Well, first of all, I think we do have a very close cooperation already, honestly. I mean, Nordic 5, we meet all the time, we call each other all the time. The Nordic Baltic 8, extremely close as well. So I do think, and of course, the fact that all of us are members of NATO increases the meaningfulness of these dialogues also in terms of security, no doubt about that. When it comes to EU, we have a lot of economic cooperation also in between the EU and the non-EU countries. Sweden belongs to a big group of countries that don't meddle with other countries' internal politics, and we're going to stay that way. But I know that there is a discussion going on in Iceland on the European Union. If that were to happen, of course, they would find a very close friend in Sweden also in that sense.
Yeah, that can be said about the European Union part. The government has decided that the people will get the opportunity to vote by 2027 or so. That's the timeline. So Iceland will be talking about whether to become a full member or not in the coming years.
Thank you. And with that, we'll have to conclude this press conference.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.